Hello everyone, and welcome to what is a long overdue and much anticipated layout update. I'll be honest with you, not a lot has changed on the layout. We still haven't got the top layer on over this side, but we're slowly progressing. We started on the point motors over this side of the yard. All of this fiddle yard is actually wired now, this end and over this side as well. That side is completely wired, hence why the top baseboard is on, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah, first of all, there's only 7 more point motors to actually fit, and this is in this yard here. I've wired up all the switches just to kind of like get them started with the wires over the top to join the 2 poles, and I will soon be wiring them into the board as well. I'm still using the crimp blade connectors and spade connector technique as recommended by Everard Junction, so thank you for that again. It's really good. You simply just run a buzz wire around the layout, which is the blue and the brown, and then I just attach all the points to it and they hook up to an old Gauge Master controller, which actually does really well, and it actually manages to run all of the points, but I'm sure for the lighting and stuff like that I'll have to find various different forms of power. So as I said, progression is very slow. It's purely just been down to me being busy throughout like the year and stuff like that, or throughout the end of the last year and into this start of the year with like my job and just various other scenarios, and literally I've been coming out of, I think it's mainly down to the fact that I just hate wiring. I'm not an electrician, and by no means do I actually plan to be one in the future, because electrics isn't really my thing at all. But it has to be done. I do want everything. It's so much easier having everything just on a switch where you can just reach over, flick it, and it just does it for you, rather than having to lean over, flick the point over, and then not like worry about getting in the way and stuff like that. So I'm literally going to come out here this weekend and try and get as much done as I can. Hopefully get all these 7 wired in. They're quite frustrating and fiddly to fit when you put them underneath. But I think I am going to go with them all underneath, purely because this little lever system can be a bit iffy sometimes and not work. But all of these have been tested, as of the other 14 on the layout over there on the other end of the fiddle yard, so they all work fine. I just need to carry on testing all the locos in and out the sidings and stuff like that, and just make sure, you know, do like one massive running session to make sure all of the trains just run like perfectly, because obviously I don't want to be taking the boards back off once I've fitted them down. Obviously we started putting the top baseboard on. This one was here already, but obviously we've added this one, and we've started the framework for actually that one. So once this yard gets fully wired up and stuff like that, we can actually start to put the top baseboard on and start on the top layout. But for now, because we're pretty much there and this board has been on for a while, we've actually started drafting ideas and various scenarios and getting ideas from different layouts that we can actually do. I mentioned, I think in one of the very first updates, that I was going to go for 4 tracks, but that's now changed, and I'm actually going to stick with just 2 tracks this time. I feel like it's probably better with the space that we've got. If we had a little bit like of a longer run up there, then like further past the wall, then maybe I'd consider 4 tracks. But you know, with the whole fiddle yard to operate and stuff like that, and then obviously we've got all this up here to operate, it's going to be a little bit tough managing 4 trains and on the upper track and bringing out the lower trains. So we don't want to kind of run ourselves out of our depth. So we're going to go for 2 tracks. I think I'm actually going to go for like a southeastern type theme. I've only ever seen one southeastern layout, or one based in, that's actually the Sandwich and Ashford monorailway. You guys probably seen it on YouTube. And that actually has got a lot of ideas that I'd like to take into account. It's only a small layout, but it's still very good actually. And I've got a few ideas that I've been looking at, and obviously living in the southeast, you do kind of want to base it around the area that you live in. But the only problem with that is that a lot of the passenger trains and stuff like that aren't actually available to buy. So you know, it would involve like scratch building and stuff like that, which can be quite awkward. You know, we'd have to scratch build the Electrostar. Obviously we've got the Javelin and stuff like that. I already do have one of them. I just need to chip it. put a chip in it, and then obviously you'd have the networker as well. So it's good. Most of this stock I've already got actually fits in pretty well. There's been a lot of 60s down on the JGA wagons. Dapol are actually releasing new versions of these. I think they're called, I can't remember what they're called. I think they might be VGA or JIA or something like that. They're very similar to them, but they're the Freightliner ones. And they tend to run out of like Angustin and places like that. So I'd definitely be investing in some of them. I might actually pre-order them this weekend. And obviously we've got like the MPVs, the 70s, and I've got a couple of others that I will be adding in as well. Let's try and get like a good angle here. I've also fitted in these 2 points here. I've got one just here and then one there, and they actually link to the other fiddle yards. We decided to go with one ramp, if you guys remember. It was easier than two and it saved space, and then we sacrificed one lane in this fiddle yard to actually allow for the other 8-lane fiddle yard that we got. So we've got approximately 15 lanes of storage, which is really, really good. For the amount of stock that we've got, it's kind of perfect. For the amount of stock that we plan to buy in the future will obviously come in handy as well. But obviously we'll have stock on top as well to store it. It's just kind of good as well because it kind of hides it. It hides all the locos and stuff like that. So if people ever were to come in and look, they just kind of maybe assume that nothing's here or whatever. So I wired these two in. I'm still not too sure what to do with these. They're kind of loose at the moment, just on the side, as is that one that's kind of just poking out of the hole there. I might put like a bit of wood flat over there and then just kind of like screw it in. But I've also I've had to fit dropper wires onto these points because when you activate these 2 points, it cuts the circuit. These are Intelfrog points. So yeah, as you know, it cuts the current from one direction to another. So I've had to install dropper wires there. So hopefully that works. But I haven't actually tested it yet. I've taken where the wires are actually connected up here. I've taken the current out, so there's no trains that can be run at the moment. But a running session will follow soon. I just need to get all of the tracks sorted and all the layout up, like the track plan up top, and like work out where I'm going to wire it and stuff like that, and wiring both tracks and various things like that. So in terms of new additions on the layout, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen both of the Northern Bell Class 47s and obviously the Class 20. You've seen them in running sessions. My latest one was the Colas Class 37, which you saw in a running video. I might do more of these little running videos if they're quite, if they seem to be fairly popular. Obviously not as popular as the layout updates because people want to, just see all of the progression of the layout. But I will try and do more of these. And obviously I have the GBR F73. Now, this was released from Dapol. It's not the Hornby one. It's the one that Dapol released. It was fairly expensive from where I got it from. I ended up getting it from Olivia's Trains. And then we did actually realise that we could have got it somewhere else for cheaper, but it still doesn't matter. We didn't overpay for it, not really. And I must say, it's a fantastic model. The detail is actually very good for a Class 73. It's a shame about the lights and stuff like that, and the fact that there's no tail lights, and the fact that the cab light stays on all the time. But you can actually rewire it, and I do plan to rewire it once we actually, once I get around to it, and I'll have it all working properly and reprogram it and stuff like that. In terms of a layout update, that's where we are at the moment. I apologise for there not being a lot to update on. But as always, if you guys do have any questions or any things you'd like to say about the layout or anything like that, feel free to drop a comment in the comments below. It's much appreciated. I will get around to answering all of your questions. I will try, like I always say, to get the layout, the next update. I'll try and make it a lot quicker than this one. I'll maybe put out a running session video once I get it all wired up. Testing. I've tidied it up as well because it's a bit of a mess at the moment with track everywhere. So if I can get some track laid on the top layout, then we won't have to actually have it all lying around everywhere. But as always, if you guys do enjoy this, please leave a like, favourite, comment and subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you guys in the next update.